What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri zone. To kick off this Monday, a big Monday, a big week, a big couple of weeks, we're going to talk about 15 deals, and actually even more than 15 deals. That's what Romeo Gresi said. He said this month he's expecting 15 deals. Actually said probably even more to take place. We are going over the outgoings, also the incomings, but even the outgoings, because that's the biggest point. You know, out of the 15, 9 of them at least are potential outgoings, and it's a massive job. It's an insane job. It's a very weird job because we're going to go over the rumor fees, the players needing to leave, the players coming in, and you will see that we're not going to replace all of them, and we are going to do some very, very sketchy deals to get these players out, because now the club told the world these players need to leave, period. There's no turning back. All of them are out. So before we do that, as always, hit the like button, smash the subscribe button, and let's talk about the 15 deals this month. Okay, before we get into it, 15 deals or more, does it sound realistic? No. If we're going over the names, you're going to say, yeah, he's out. He's out. He's out. Yeah, he's out. But are these players going to leave? That's a thing. We start off with Djalo on loan. So out on a loan deal. Everybody's reporting the same thing, that he's not going to stay this season. He will not be sold. He will be loaned out because he needs game time. Now, I will say from the get-go, the deal we've done, Giuntoli has done, failed. As of now, the deal flopped already, because you could have signed him on a free now, this summer, and you could have loaned him out whatsoever. You paid millions for him, 5-6 millions, whatever, and he played nothing for you. He played 5 minutes under Allegri, a half under Allegri. He played one preseason game and trained for 2 weeks with Thiago Motta, and you said, yeah, he's not ready. He needs to leave on loan. And that might be the case. He's not ready to actually contribute because he needs to get consistent minutes. And going off preseason game, yeah, he needs consistent minutes, we're all assuming. But it's a weird thing, because who are you going to loan him out to? I know there are rumors about Genoa and these teams. Does he want to go to Genoa? Is he looking at this move saying, ah, man, what the hell have I done right here? And maybe he's looking at it saying, yeah, it's correct. I need a loan move. I need consistent game time before I can actually show that I can come back. Now, the interesting part is that Porto have shown some interest in him. And funnily enough, we are in talks or potential talks with Dortmund, with Porto for Galeno, Pepe, Conceição. Name the players. So 1 + 1 is 2. But as of now, Mirko Di Natale said it's a loan deal. We are not selling him as of now. It's just a loan deal. That's number one. That's player number one. A player you probably can move on pretty easy, especially if it's a loan deal. The next one is Filip Kostic. Rumored price tag 8 million euros. That's just the bare minimum to break even on the books, basically. If that's a price tag, you assume you can move on Filip Kostic. If he wants to join the Turkish league, I'm assuming an offer comes from that league, Does he want to leave? That's the question with Filip Kostic. Does he have an offer that he's looking at and he's like, you know what? I can spend my remainder of my career, basically the next 3 years, and then he will be 34 or whatever, at that club. That is the issue. There was no offer for Filip Kostic. There's absolutely no offer for Filip Kostic. There's interest, but no real talks between players and clubs, between clubs and clubs, and nothing is happening around Kostic. And to make it a bit worse, he's injured right now. He is injured, happened during the Euros, kind of taking longer than expected, but he is injured, so it's not easy to move up Kostic. The price is extremely low. Like, you can say Kostic is not good. 8 million in today's market. I've seen Belgian clubs sign players for 8 million, to put things in perspective. Like, not even the top clubs in the Belgian league. I've seen them spend 8 million euros on a player. So the transfer fee is extremely low. His wages, on the other end, are 3.5. That is a potential issue for clubs that are potentially going to come in for him. I think Premier League clubs are coming in for him. And if Premier League clubs are coming in for him, I don't think these clubs are ready to pay Kostic 3.5 million euros a season. So he also needs to kind of make a gesture, accepting that he's not part of the club and even lower his demand. But as of now, 8 million euros a price tag, no offers and nothing. Next one, obviously Chiesa. The new news is basically that Mirko Di said the price tag is now 15 million euros, which is almost the bare minimum, or it is the bare minimum, probably slightly under the bare minimum to break even on the books. And you can say we're underselling. Yes, we are. The 18th of July, Giuntoli said, hey, he's part of the team. 12 days later, or more, 16 days later, he's still here. And Giuntoli and Motta decided, okay, everybody knows we're going to sell him. Now we're going to tell the world, the fans, actually for once, face to face, not via the media, Chiesa is out of the project. He needs to leave. Now, if 50 million euros a price tag, I'm assuming the offers are coming flying in. Unless, which I don't think is true, that he is asking 8 million euros from Juventus. I don't think that is the issue. I don't think he's asking 8 million euros. I think he's asking more than what he's on now. And the club is like, okay, you've not proven to be worth that money. We're not going to offer you that money. And at that point, he said, nah. And the club is like, okay, this is it. We need to cash in, whatever. We cannot lose you on the free. You need to leave, even for 50 million euros. There's also news that Inter are interested, and so on, so on. I can see him ending up at Inter. They play Champions League. They're a good team. They're the best team in Italy. They're one of the best in Europe at this moment in time. Like, real is real. I can see him ending up at Inter. I'm not going to lie. Will Juve sell him to Inter? I don't think they have a choice. You know, if Inter's the only offer and he's like, I want to join Inter, then you have no choice, and you cannot be petty about it, being Juve. You don't want him to be in the project. You don't believe he's part of the project. Then you also cannot be scared that he goes to Inter and does well. You know, that's weak. If you think he's not good enough anymore, he doesn't fit your project, if you think he's not a loss for your team in the future or now, then you let him go to whatever team he wants to go, whichever team he wants to go. As long as you get your minimum fee, which right now is 50 million euros, which is insane if you said so 2 years ago, but that's the reality of the matter right now. So Chiesa, player number 3. The next one, Weston Mckennie, 12 million euros, bare minimum again. Fiorentina in talks, potentially rumors about him willing to join the Bundesliga again. He's on 3 million euros, said no to almost 3.5 from Aston Villa, wanted 5.5. Well, you're not going to get that in the Bundesliga. You're not going to get that anywhere, you know, because at the end of the day, yes, you had a decent season or a good season. You're just one of 1,000 players in Europe, you know, of that ilk, of that quality. You're not special, so clubs are not going to pay you that money, and especially not Bundesliga clubs. So Fiorentina are interested. But even them, they are looking at it and saying, man, 3 million euros, we're not going to pay you 3 million euros. You know, we're not going to pay Weston Mckennie 3 million euros at Fiorentina. So his wage and his potential wage demands are an issue right now. Also, he's a free agent. That's why the price is extremely low. The club is just in a mode right now where they're like, we need to cash in on contract expiring or players on big wages. We need to bite the bullet right now. We just need to do that. Get it over with, which we haven't done in years prior, which is kind of why we are in this situation right now. It's just bare minimum, fire sale. Please come and get these players. Everybody knows they're for sale, and potentially the club's like, yeah, it's okay that the entire world knows we're handing out discounts because we're kind of desperate, because the club is desperate right now. So Mckennie, 12 million euros. Next one up, Szczesny, 0, free. I think it's a real possibility that we let Szczesny go on a free, agree to terminate his contract, maybe pay him out, whatever, because there's nothing moving. I think he will end up leaving, but right now, nothing is moving. There are no, there are no real offers for Szczesny, and that is an issue. On Szczesny, I see a lot of outrage from people. Oh, Chiesa disrespected Szczesny, and I like Chiesa, by the way. Szczesny has done more for the club than Chiesa over a longer period of time with more consistency. And we are acting like he is a Sciglio, who was basically never part of the squad. You know, that's how we're treating him. We never gave him a goodbye as well. Just basically at the end of the season, everybody was like, what? Szczesny out, Di Gregorian. People are not mad about it because we got Di Gregorian. Everybody's like, oh. But even if you replace Chiesa, people are like, oh man, it's still Chiesa. There are double standards for a player who has shown fantastic things for this club, Szczesny. And he's one of those who never complained, said things how it was. Yes, he made errors, but overall, he was a very, very good servant to the club, and we are kicking him to the curb. But no offers. It was a Saudi league, 5 million. They're not willing to pay that. Monza, we needed to pay the wages. Monza are in talks for De Gea and 1,000 goalkeepers, whatever. Genoa are in talks for De Gea as well. So where is he going to end up? I don't know, but I think he got the message. And at the end, worst case scenario, we might be paying him off. We might be paying him out. That is the decision Giuntoli has made, and he needs to deal with it right now. But Szczesny could be leaving on a free, so 0. Next one up, Milik. Milik, who also needs to leave, potentially, And I've always said that I think he's going to end up staying. 8 million euros, but Nicolussi is saying he doesn't want to leave. He wants to stay at the club. He made that very clear. Now, the club made it very clear, you guys need to leave. Is Giuntoli going to say, okay, if you stay, you're going to sit in the stands, you're not going to play? I don't think that. That's why I'm like, I can see Milik actually staying at the club right now, even though his wages are 3.5, whatever, because if you don't replace him, you're not going to bench your only backup, If he's saying, I don't want to leave, I'm going to stay, then it is an issue, It is an issue, especially if he only decides to leave very late, then you have no plan, you have no time to replace him, and that could be a massive issue right now. So 8 million is the bare minimum, but Nicolussi said he doesn't want to leave. He wants to stay. And again, like many players, why would you leave if you're on 3.5 million euros being a backup? Living in Torino. It's a good life. It is a good life. So interesting, but I don't think that's one of those players that's going to be jumping to leave ASAP from the get-go. Next one up, Arthur Melo. Yes, he's still part of the squad. I said 0. We need to get a transfer fee for him, but his wages are 5-6 million euros. I have no idea how we're going to get a transfer fee for him. If we get rid of it, Arthur, it's a miracle. He's not even in training. Like, he's just not even showing. Like, he's just gone. Like, there are no pictures. Like, he's just on the books. He's part of the squad. And other than that, it's just, yeah, he's here, but 0. Like, I think at one point, we're just going to terminate these contracts, pay them out a little bit, and get rid. I think we're in that situation right now with Arthur Melo as well, because his wages are insane. And why would he take a pay cut? Because he knows, hey, I'm not getting that anywhere. So if you loan me out for one more season and I take those 6 million euros, I'm cool with that. If my contract then expires and I need to sign a 2 million deal, that's fine. I still make up 2 years with that 6 million contract. So are we going to move out Melo? Who knows? There's absolutely no news. It feels like he's not part of the squad, but he is on the books. On paper, he's part of the squad. So Arthur Melo, massive problem. Massive problem. So that's why I'm saying, and the media is saying, hey, he could be leaving on basically a free. Terminate the contract, 0. Next one up, Sciglio, 2 million. 500,000 more than his wages. I couldn't believe we signed him to a new deal. I said it when people back then said, oh, it's 1.5, it's good. No, it's not good. He's crap. He's an average player. He's always injured. It's a complete waste of money. We wasted 3 million euros, probably 6 gross for the club. We wasted that money. He's not a good backup. He's nothing. Like, he shouldn't be at the club. We loaned him out. Contract expired, and we handed out a new deal. People should be going to hell for those type of contracts. They really should. Whoever gave that, was it Cherubini or Paratici and Allegri, that was absolutely rubbish. 2 million euros. Are we gonna get rid of him? I don't know. I don't see a club jumping to get Sciglio with his track record, with 1.5 million wages, his injury track record. Excuse me. Who's gonna actually be jumping of joy to, hey, let's get Sciglio? Even these lower teams, lower bar teams, lower mid-table teams are probably looking at it. It's like, yeah, man, you're always injured. So are you gonna be here? So 2 million euros, whatever. I think just terminate his contract right now. Because I don't see that happening even. Next one, Rugani, loan. Just signed a new deal and now we're loaning him out. 30-year-old sign the new deal, and we're loaning him out. I cannot explain what I'm witnessing. I'm not gonna lie. I'm so confused. He signed him to a new deal. Me included was like, yeah, good backup, and now like, we don't want you. Please leave on loan. Probably paying part of his wages if he joins Ajax. Insane. That's one of the worst deals you will ever see. And it's not even close. Giuntoli needs to answer those questions. Probably nobody will ask him that question. But if there's a journalist out there, please ask him the question: why did you sign him to a new deal? And why are you then loaning him out 3 months later or 2 months later? Insanity. One of the worst deals I've ever seen. So Rugani, low move. And to wrap it up for the sales, it's Nicolussi, 7 million. I know a lot of people, oh, he's good. He needs to leave. He needs to leave for his own sake. You know, yes, you had your dream of playing for Juve, winning a Coppa, playing in the Coppa final. Happy for him. I get it. Overall, he's a good player, but he's not of a quality where I'm like, oh, yeah, he needs to be part of the team. He's not. And just for his own sake, just get it over with, get that money, and keep it moving. And I don't want to hear the comments, what about Miretti, so on, so on. If the club decides to sells Miretti, I will be disappointed. But if you replace him, I'm like, okay, deal with it right now. Deal with it. But Hans Nicolussi, for his own sake, needs to leave. For his own career, leave. 7 million euros. I think that's a fair price. I think that's actually very cheap because I think he's a good player and he will be a very good player for certain teams. But I think he will leave. Is it Venezia? Is it Parma? Is it whoever? I think he will leave. 7 million euros. That's a good price, you know, for him. So those are the outgoings. That's about 9 players. Romeo said 15, even more. He said Facundo Gonzalez potentially could be leaving. He's leaving on loan, you know, dry loan, because Motta wants him back next season. If Motta's going to be here, because some might say he's not going to be here, judging off quote-unquote preseason. However, that's still 5-6 slots that are open, and that means we need to sign. We need to sign a Todibo, a Koopmeiners, a winger or two, a backup striker potentially, you know, an extra left back or a right back. Like, we need to do a lot of business in 1 month. That's why I said, if I go down this list, everybody's like, yeah, move him on. But it's not easy. These players are on big wages. They don't have offers. Juve have no offers from other clubs. So it's a very weird situation. I'm expecting this week, a bare minimum, here we go with Todibo, and actually very close for Koopmeiners, potentially Chiesa out of the door, and that's because the club wants it. Rugani wrapped up, Szczesny update, and Mckennie. I'm expecting a busy week, because if we go in week 3 basically of August and we have still nothing going, then what are we doing? Because we play Como in 2 weeks and things need to be wrapped up for their own good. You cannot go to the training ground and see a group of players training and you're like, oh man, these guys, we told them to leave and they're still here. And then you look at your squad and you're like, we're telling these guys to leave, but we don't have the replacements lined up. That's not an ideal prep to the season. So massive week. Let's see how many deals you will get done. But this week it needs to pick up in speed massively with a couple of here we go type of deals, ins and outs. So let me know in the comments what you think about the outgoings. Do you think we're gonna make 15 deals happen, or more, less, whatever? Let me know. Like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you tonight for a live show with Julian. So stay tuned for that. Ciao.